Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today I am going to do my January wrap up. I read a lot of books in January. I read 19 in total, so which for me is quite a lot, and also the fact that a lot of these were like actual books and not mangas or comics or whatever. In fact, I didn't read a single manga or comic in January. So let's get to it because this could take a while to get through, and I'm going out. So to start off with, I'm going to do this in order of the order that I read them as well. So the first one I read was The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I read Amanda's first book, The Princess Saves Herself in This One, in December, and I've really enjoyed it. I don't usually read poetry, but I did really enjoy the Princess poetry book. I read this one. I didn't enjoy it as much. I gave this one 3 stars. I gave The Princess 5, I think. So I gave this one 3. I didn't enjoy it as much, but it was really good. I would recommend reading it. What I do like is the fact that the pages are white and the text is red. I don't think you can see that properly, but as is on the front of the cover, the text is in red in the book. Yeah, it was okay. I am looking forward to the mermaid one as well, which comes out, I think it's in March. So I am looking forward to that. So yeah, 3 stars for that one. I then read The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, and this is one of my 30 for 30 TBR books for my readathon. So this is the first one that I've read for my readathon. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was very good. This also covered a book that needs to be set in America for one of my Bookopoly challenges. I can't actually off the top of my head remember what the other challenge was, but I'm pretty certain I covered that one as well. This was very good. I did really enjoy it. It follows 2 characters. So it follows Natasha, who is a girl that is from Jamaica, and she is being deported back with her family to Jamaica. I think their visas have run out or something, and she's the only one in her family that's trying to stop this from happening. She goes to see a couple of lawyers and she's trying to get it fixed. En route to go and seeing said lawyers, she bumps into a boy called Daniel, who is a Chinese boy, I think, and they end up getting on really well. He is a poet and does he work in his dad's shop? I can't remember, but his brother does. And they end up bumping into each other and essentially spending the day together before Natasha gets deported back to Jamaica. So it's a very lovely book, to be fair. I did really enjoy it. The story was very good. I did listen to it on Audible. It was a really nice listen to. It was a nice listen. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. I then listened to 13 by Steve Kavanagh. I loved this. I thought it was fantastic. Again, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This was on my TBR, I think, in like October, November and December, and it just never got round to it. For some reason, I wasn't making a priority, which is strange because I loved the sound of this. So essentially our main character, it does sort of follow a couple of different characters. So it follows our main character, who is a judge. No, he's not a judge at all. He's a lawyer, and he is involved in a case that it's a murder case basically. But we also follow the murderer as well, who has managed to get on the jury. So yeah. It says on the front cover, the serial killer isn't on trial, he's on the jury. So it's very interesting. I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to spoil it. This is part of a series which follows the lawyer, but you don't have to have read the previous ones. Obviously, it would be nice to know more about said lawyer, but I didn't feel like I'd missed out by not having read the previous ones. I am going to go back and read them though, I think. But Steve Kavanagh's got a new book coming out in April called Twisted. I do have an e-arc of it, so I am planning on reading that soon. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Do love Steve's writing though. I think it's fantastic. The next book I read was The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Bithell. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. This is one of the first books that I started annotating, as you can see with my tabs. I didn't necessarily continue to do so with the rest of these books because a lot of them I listen to, and it's difficult to annotate the book when you listen to it at work and not actually reading it. I loved this book. I thought it was fantastic. Orange for me is funny, so as you can see, I did find this hilarious. This is essentially a diary of Sean, the bookseller. He owns a bookshop in Wigtown in Scotland and called The Bookshop, and I then went to go and visit the bookshop after I read this book. This is the bookshop. It's a gorgeous little bookshop. It's massive though, like huge. Unfortunately Sean wasn't in. He is sunning himself in the Bahamas at the moment, lucky bugger. But yeah, I did take the book in the hopes that I might be able to get it signed if he was in, but he wasn't, which is a shame. But for me, Wigtown is like 4 hours away, so I can always go back up and visit any time that I'm in Scotland. So I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It's not for everyone, which I understand, but it is literally like a diary. So like Monday, Tuesday, etc, etc. It's very good. I loved it. I thought it was really, really brilliant. Then I listened to The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I wanted to get on the hype. Not only that, but I'm going to see Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. I said it again. And maybe I should do a jar where I put £1 in for every time I say this. I'm going seeing them at the end of this month, February. So I wanted to obviously get on top of their books, which I have managed to make quite a bit of progress on this month. So I listened to this on Audible. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. It is, should be a couple of triggers, I think, for essentially bullying. The prince is very, very cruel, but it did have me on the edge of my seat. I did really enjoy it. I do highly recommend it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The narration was very, very good. I did listen to this at work, and I think I listened to it in a day. Like I just couldn't stop with it. So I really enjoyed it. It was very, very good. 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend. Next was City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. This is book number 4 in the Mortal Instruments series, and like I just said with the Holly Black thing, I am going seeing Cassandra Clare at the end of Feb, and I want to be up to date as much as I possibly can with her books. It's going to be a big feat because I am still on the Mortal Instruments. I've got 1 book left to read for Mortal Instruments, so I think I'm going to jump straight into the Dark Artifices and skip for the time being the other series that I can't remember the name of because my mind has gone blank because I'm trying to remember everything about these books so I can tell you about them. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I think I'm going to be giving... Did I give it 4 out of 5 stars? Sorry, I'm just looking at my bullet journal. Yeah, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I think I'm going to end up giving the whole series 4 out of 5 stars. I am really, really enjoying it. Also, I watched the TV series, so I do have, like, people playing the characters in my head from the TV series, which essentially don't necessarily follow, but it is enjoyable to do it that way, I think. Like, I really enjoy Magnus, the person who plays Magnus Bane in the TV series, so it makes it a lot more enjoyable in the book to imagine him as Magnus Bane. For example, again, the guy who plays Simon, I just find it really, really funny. It's the sort of stuff I imagine him saying. The stories obviously follow differently from the book to the TV series. It does differ in a sense, but no, I'm really enjoying it. It's very, very good, and I highly recommend. 4 out of 5 stars. I then listened to the Hound of the Baskervilles by not by Sherlock Holmes. Oh my god, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, even, which is obviously Sherlock Holmes. I really, really enjoyed this. I listened to this, and I think the narrator was a guy called David Timmons. I'm not sure, but I'm going to listen to the rest of the Sherlock Holmes series because I just found it really enjoyable. Like, I had a lot of fun with it. It was by no means a funny story, but I just had a lot of fun with it. Like, obviously, Sherlock and Watson are quite a fun duo to see anyway. I don't watch this TV series. I haven't seen Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman as Sherlock and Watson, but I do enjoy them a lot. So I do know Sherlock and Watson are like a funny duo as a sense, But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm going to make sure I listen to them narrated by that guy, because I just really did enjoy it. Found myself getting really involved. Like, there is a point at which Sherlock like slaps his leg in the middle of an idea, and I just found myself sat listening to the book, slapping my leg along with it. I just found it really funny. It was a lot of fun. 5 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it. It was very good. I then read Fire and Heist by Sarah Beth Durst. This sleeve is very slippy. This was Fairy Loot's book for January, in the January box, and I enjoyed this a lot. So this is to do with dragons, but they don't call themselves dragons, and waverings, that's the word I'm looking for, and they essentially are obsessed with gold, and they heist, if you like. There's more to the story than that. It is set in America, which actually I really enjoyed about it, because it's so nice to have a bit of fantasy but set in our world, if you like. Like, a lot of the time fantasy is set on a different world, whereas this was really enjoyable to see dragons, waverings living within our community, if you like. So I did really enjoy it in that sense, because you don't get that very often. But I thought it was very good. I did really enjoy it. I highly recommend it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, actually. I did. That's what I did. Yeah, no, I highly recommend it. It's very good. Then I went on to The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I have been wanting to read this for ages, like really wanting to read the series, because I've heard so many good things on BookTube and in the book community, and it's been one that I've just been really wanting to immerse myself in the whole series. Anyway, I listened to it and I wasn't overly fussed, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what happened. I wasn't that bothered by it. Like, I could give or take the rest of the series. I'm not bothered. I have heard the series carries on, and it's very good. Like, it gets better as the series goes on. So I may carry on with it, but I'm not in any rush to do so. I think I ended up giving this, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Like, I feel a bit let down by it, because I honestly thought it was going to be like a 5-star for me, but it's not. So yeah, that was a surprise for me. Another surprise, I read Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. Now, out of these two, if you'd have asked me what I would have preferred to have read, it was going to be this one. This is one I really wanted to read, but I asked my parents to pick one for me for the month of January, and they picked Throne of Glass. But I ended up listening to them both anyway, because I managed to do them in a day each, because I listened to them at work. So I thought this was going to be 5 stars. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this as much, and I was dreading getting through it, because I thought, it's got 7 books, it's an entire series, and I'm going to have to listen to it all. As it turns out, 3 out of 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars. I loved this. I thought it was fantastic. Did I give it 5? Yes, I did. I thought it was amazing. I really loved it. I love our main character, whose name has completely gone on me now. What is she called? Selena Sardossian, that's the one. I really loved it, just obsessed with it. There's like one little tab in it for the Rattle the Stars quote. But yeah, I loved it, and I'm going to carry on with the series. Is it called The Midnight Crown or something like that? I can't remember the next book, but it's going to be on my February TBR. I loved this. 5 out of 5 stars. Next was Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna Maguire. I really enjoyed this, actually. I think I've basically given the whole series like 4 out of 5 stars. So I listened to this on Audible, and I did enjoy it. It's very good. This is the only one I own in a hard copy, because in like actual copy, because they are quite expensive, but I just love the cover on this one. So yeah, it was very good. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I also listened to In an Absent Dream by Shauna Maguire, which is the 4th in the Wayward Children series. It's the 4th and last one in the Wayward Children series. I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars as well. Don't have a copy of it, so I'll show it here. Yeah, it was good. It was not bad. Again, like I say, I gave the whole series 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it. It was good. Next, I listened to All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I loved this. I loved it so much. I have seen the film already, So part of me was getting frustrated. I was like, you're not following the film. And then I had to remind myself that the book came first. But no, I really, really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it. I did. No, I did. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the film. But I do love the film. Like, I've seen it 5 times maybe, and I do love the film. But I really enjoyed the book. I ship Laura Jean and Peter so hard. It's not even funny. And I do love Kitty as well. She's so cute. So yeah, I really love this. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. No surprise here. But I very much enjoyed this book. I then listened to The Wicked King by Holly Black, which was obviously clearly my next step on Holly's list. I had a lot of trouble getting hold of this book, which was a nightmare. But I listened to it anyway on Audible because I thought, why not? I enjoyed the narrator for The Cruel Prince, so why not listen to it? But I have to wait an entire fucking year for the next one, and I'm devastated. I thought it was a duology, and it's not. So, gotta wait another year for the next one. But I loved this. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's been left us on a ridiculous cliffhanger, and I just don't know what to do with myself now. So, yeah. But I'm excited to take this with me to go meet Holly in a couple of weeks and get it signed. It should be good. Then I listened to P.S. I Still Love You. Don't have the book, so I'll show it here, which is the second in Jenny Han's To All the Boys I Loved Before series. Again, absolutely loved it. Same narrator. She was fantastic. 4 out of 5 stars for this one. I didn't like it as much. Oh yeah, that was it. So I felt like it dragged a little bit in the middle, and I felt like there was unnecessary drama for Laura Jean and Peter. And I know that that's what you've got to do to keep a series going, but I did get myself to a point in the middle where I was like, To All the Boys I've Loved Before could have been a standalone. Like, why have you felt the need to do a second one? But it panicked me a little bit in the middle, and then at the end I got what I wanted out of the book, thank God. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first, but it was good nonetheless. I then went on to listen to Battle Scars by Jason Fox. Last month, the month before, I listened to Ant Middleton do his First Man In, Leading from the Front book. I adore Ant Middleton as a person. I adore him on the TV. I just have a lot of respect for him and what he's been through and things. And it was only right that next I listened to Foxy's book. So Foxy narrated his own book, which is great. Another reason why I've listened to it. I always tend to listen, especially if the authors narrated their own book. I will always do my best to listen to said book. So I listened to This Is Gonna Hurt by Adam Kay because he narrated it himself. I listened to First Man In, Leading from the Front by Ant Middleton because he narrated it himself. And I feel like you get a lot out of the author reading their own book because they know exactly how the person in the book, unless it's their like a autobiography, you know exactly how the person in the book is supposed to feel. Again, Philip Pullman is another one that narrates his own books. So I really enjoyed Northern Lights because he narrated it himself. So yes, I loved this book. Jason was in the SBS, I think, and was he in the SAS? I can't remember. He was in the Special Forces either way, and it goes into like him being in the military and the Special Forces, but it doesn't go into it as much as Ant's does. So he does talk about it, but not as much. Fox's story is more to do with his life outside of the Special Forces and becoming a civvy again and trying to get back into normal civilian life while suffering with depression and PTSD. So there is some bits in this book where his therapist has actually written some bits to put in the book, and obviously Foxy narrates it, she doesn't narrate it herself, but there are trigger warnings for this. I do just want to mention there are trigger warnings for this for PTSD, depression and suicide as well. So just if you're thinking about picking it up, just beware. There are trigger warnings for it, so just be careful with it. But it is a fantastic story. I have a lot more respect now for Foxy as a person, and very proud of what he's sort of come through. It seems silly saying that about a person that's on TV, but he is a person nonetheless, and very proud of what he's come through and the battles he's fought and getting to where he is today. But also it sort of gives me another side of looking at him on the TV. So when he does the TV program SAS Who Dares Wins, which he is involved in with Ant Middleton, you can see it in his face when they talk to people that have depression or suffer with anxiety or have tried to kill themselves, have suicidal tendencies or whatever. You can see it in his face that he fully understands what that person is going through, and it's something that maybe if you haven't read his story you would probably not notice before now, but you can see it in his face, written all over his face. He fully understands it, he fully sympathises with them because he's been there and he's done it before. So yes, a very good book. I highly recommend. 5 out of 5 stars. I do recommend listening to it though. It's always good to hear the story from the horse's mouth, obviously. So I then went on to listen to City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare, the 5th book in the Mortal Instruments series. So I've just got the 6th one to go now, which is City of Heavenly Fire. I've given this, I think I gave it again 4 out of 5 stars. I'm sort of getting to a point now I'm a little bit sick of it, but I'm not at the same time, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm sick of the drama. I just wish they could settle down and have a day where they can just go out and be kids and just enjoy themselves. But obviously you won't have a story if that's the case. So I understand the drama, but I just I don't know. I just found myself getting really fucking frustrated because I didn't want Jace to be in the position that he's in this one. Like, the part of which he is playing in this. I didn't like it. I was not happy about it, and I just wanted him to be normal again because I ship Jace and Clary really hard, and also Magnus and Alec are adorable. I do love also the romance between Simon and Isabel in this series, which they don't have in the TV series, which frustrates me a little bit. Although I have just gotten to like episode 10 of season 3, and then it may be on the horizon. I am hoping so, but we'll see. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I listened to it, obviously. I then listened to Always and Forever by Laura Jean. I don't own it. Again, I can't remember if I gave this 4 or 5 out of 5 stars. It might have been 5 out of 5 stars. Pretty certain it probably was, actually. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it better than the second one, but not as much as the first. But I loved that it sort of focused a little bit more on her dad and his relationship. I did love that because I think it's just really important that I do enjoy the fact that it's like not just Laura Jean and Peter, it's about like her family and her friends, and I did really enjoy it. I thought it was very, very good. Again, the ending ended it the way I wanted it to. I was really happy with how it ended. I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm pretty bummed that I finished the series now though. I wish they would hurry their asses up and get the next 2 films out because I love it. It's great. Finally, the last book I finished, literally on the last day of January, was The 6 Loves of Billy Binns by Richard Lumsden. I got this book when I went to a book event last Wednesday, so like the other week, when this goes up, be the other week. And I got this book from Richard, and he signed it for me, which is fantastic. Richard is such a lovely man, like so nice, such a great guy. He sat down and spoke with us for like 40 minutes in the evening. Again, I tabbed this up because I just thought it was fantastic. Yellow is sad, shocking, upsetting. There is a lot of yellow tabs in this book. Like, it was so upsetting. So this is about a 119-year-old man called Billy Binns, and it is about his 5 loves throughout his life. His 5 loves being Mary, Evie, Archie, Vera and Mrs. Jackson. And Archie is his son, which I was really surprised about. Like, the first chapter sort of goes through very quickly who these people are, and I hadn't realised. I'd read the back, but for some reason hadn't made the connection that there was a boy in there. And obviously I was really surprised about the fact that his son was in there, which was so lovely. But it does say the 6 loves of Billy Binns, and all the way through the book I was like, why is it only going on about 5? But it makes sense at the end of the book. I do highly recommend you read it. There are points in this book where you will sit there and you'll shake your head and you go, for God's sake, Billy, what are you doing? Why are you being so stupid? And it just, honestly, it really brings it home to you that the smallest thing in your life can change your entire path. Like, it's just crazy how it can happen. There is a point in which you think this guy has got it all and his life is just, you think the path, that's the road it's going to take, and it just changes with a split-second decision. It just changes the whole path, and it's beautiful. It's amazing. I adored it, and it broke my heart all at the same time, and I highly recommend you read it. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It's fantastic. I would also mention that Richard actually wrote the first 100 or so pages 24 years ago. So he picked this back up again like 4 years ago to finish the rest of it off and get it published. So he did start it off 24 years ago, but he felt like he was too young and he just wasn't doing it justice, and he essentially gave up on writing it, and then came back to it like 4 years ago after being sort of pushed by, I think by a publisher, I'm not sure, and here we are today with it coming out. In fact, it's out now. It came out on 21st of Jan. I can't remember when it came out, but this book, it doesn't say when it came out. This book is beautiful, and I highly recommend everybody reads it because it's great. But yeah, those were my 19 books of January. I feel like it was a really good month, like a really good reading month, and I really enjoyed everything I read. I started the month off with a 3-star, which wasn't great, but slowly but surely I had a really good month, really good reading month. I enjoyed everything, pretty much everything I read, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year with my reading. I did think at one point that I might have to bring my reading goal down from 100 books, because my training at work is picking up and I might not have the time to read as much, but I've just kind of like smashed out 19 books in 1 month, so we will see how that goes. But yeah, that's everything I read. I would love to know in the comments below if you read any of these, if you had different opinions to me, if you had the same opinions. I'd love to hear about them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I shall see you again next time. Bye.